Question your reality. Online classes and personal mentorship at thunderwizard.com. Question your reality. Online classes and personal mentorship at thunderwizard.com. That's how sort of way it was supposed to go. Anyway, that's exactly what you're seeing here, this chaos, this craziness. That is exactly what we are experiencing now. This is the solar flash update, March 21st, 2024. The upcoming solar eclipse brings intense changes and chaos to the Earth. So get ready for massive disclosure and revelations. So I don't know if you're feeling it. I sure as heck am. You just saw it. I'm scrambling to put together new presentations to get my channel up and running. A lot of good things happening with the channel in terms of I'm starting to go viral on my Facebook page, which I invite you to go look at, which is The Path of the Thunder Wizard. So go ahead and go there and join me there, and like and all that stuff there. But really, the whole point of that Facebook page is to get people over here. This channel, the stuff that we're talking about, is too important, and we need to get this information out to anybody and everybody who will listen. So welcome if you are new to the channel. And today we're going to be talking about, again, I don't know if you're feeling it, but there's a lot of really crazy stuff going on. One of the things that's coming up very soon, I believe it's the 8th of April, is the solar eclipse. We've been talking about that. There was a solar eclipse, the last one that we had, however many months ago it was, that came right over Dallas. And it is going to go right over Dallas again. And so what will happen is the combination of the two solar eclipses is going to paint the entire US with Dallas, Texas as the hub. Listen, there's no coincidence that there is basically a civil war going on in the United States over immigration coming out of Texas. There's 50 states, right, in the United States. 20 is the last I checked. There could be more by this time. Last I checked, 25 governors. That's of 25 states. That's half. Literally right down the middle. That's half of the states of the United States. Half of them are supporting the Texas state government that is refusing to allow federal troops in to deal with the border crisis. And that is an act of war. It's, we could make the argument that states have the right to do whatever they want. That was the original intent of the framers of the Constitution, that the states would be, state means country. Doesn't mean that in our minds anymore, but the phrase United States of America literally means United Countries of America. It doesn't mean United Provinces, it means United Countries. They're supposed to be independent, 50 independent countries within this larger, conglomeration. Of course, that has eroded over time. So according to the current, all of the things that have been amended to in the Constitution, now it's what Texas is doing is breaking federal law. And so, if Biden was stupid enough, he could send an army to attack him. But half of the states have fully supported Texas, and Florida has sent troops to Florida to prevent, what's been going on. As you know, maybe you don't know, I doubt if you don't, but there is a crisis on the border, which is really what's happening is that the United States government has gone out of its way to invite, literally to not only to invite and allow anybody to come across the border, without going through the normal legal process, the normal legal channels, but they are really, they've been advertising it so much so that there's an app that people can download on their phone, which will allow them to, tell them where to go, how to get across the border. We'll give them tickets to fly to cities. We'll give them credit cards. We'll make appointments for them so that literally, it's just a come on in and here's some free money and now I got nothing against people migrating anywhere for any reason. But the problem is what's happening is you've got people who don't speak the language, and you got people who, who knows where they're going to end up, and they're literally getting dropped off in the middle of cities. As you guys know, public stadiums and venues are being completely taken over and filled with people. And again, you've got 1 in 7 children in the United States are suffering from starvation. You've got no shortage of homeless. You've got no shortage of, American citizens, legal American citizens who can't find work, who can't get a job, who can't get a home. And, there are these people coming in who aren't citizens, and they're being given places to live, they're being given money. And on top of that, the United States military is seeking to give citizenship to anybody because American citizens aren't signing up to be in the military. So what does that tell you? Anyway, without making any judgments on it, those are the facts. And so this is a boiling point. And in Texas, the whole point of this is that Texas is the focal point, and Texas is really seeking to almost secede from the Union. And so, look, if something fishy happens between now and election time, if something fishy happens to Donald Trump, or if something fishy happens with the election, or if people think something fishy is happening with the election, you can fill in the blank. So, and there's even, I think there was a movie that came out. I didn't see it, but I heard about it. I guess it came out, and it was a movie about civil war in the United States. So whenever you see Hollywood making a movie about something, that tells me, that gives me the tinfoil hat kind of person that I am, it gives me the feeling that what's happening is that is what the dark forces are trying to promote. They want to create this. So point being is that if I can find it, I might not be able to find it because it's been so long since I talked about it, but when we take a look at the eclipses and how each of them literally goes right over the same spot, and you see that there it is. So you see those two lines. The October 14th eclipse went right through Texas and over to the West Coast, or the other way around, West Coast to Texas. And then this one is going to come over the East Coast and hit Texas. The same spot, Dallas, right smack dab in the middle there. So what ends up happening in between, from Vedic astrology understanding, what happens in between eclipses is that the first one, it happens every year. The first time we have an eclipse, what happens is the eclipse will create chaos. There will be an attempt to eclipse the truth from you. Secrets, there will be an attempt to be, secrets will be used. But what ends up happening is the eclipse ends up doing the opposite. It ends up revealing the truth. So when you have the two things come together, the first one hits and then the second one hits. In between is when you have all of the chaos happening, because things are heated up. And you have, in the Norse tradition, you have Loki, who is seen as the god of mischief. He's really not the god of mischief. What Loki does is he reveals the unsavory truth. He reveals the truth you don't want to see. Again, people completely misunderstand who Loki was. I won't get into that. I've made videos about it. Whether you choose to believe in Loki or not is up to you. But the idea of Loki is that Loki isn't, He's only a mischief maker if you are an elite who wants to keep control, and elites use all kinds of ways to keep control over people. And the way that this was shown was in the mythology, the Lokasena. What happens is that Loki shows up at a party that the gods are having, and they're all partying and drinking, and Loki's not invited. And so they're all partying and drinking, and Loki comes in, the door slams, and everybody goes. Because they know if Loki's there, nobody invited him, everybody's feeling guilty. So he goes and he sits down next to Odin. Odin is supposed to be his blood brother. And he sits down next to Odin and he says, you're my blood brother. And you said that, we would always drink together. And then Loki went and started, because then everybody started giving him a hard time, basically. Why don't you just quiet down, have some fun? We're trying to party. Why are you causing so much? And each person that came to him would say, and you, maybe we should tell the truth about you, what you're really doing. And then he reveals the truth, their hypocrisy. And he did it with all of the gods. He would just undress them and reveal their hypocrisy. And the reason why he does that is not to cause harm or to get revenge. But Loki shows up, and I'm talking about Loki because Loki is the eclipse. The eclipse is Rahu. Rahu in Vedic astrology functions in the same light as Loki does. And Rahu is a revealer of truth as well. So he reveals the truth, but he does so to advance the spiritual awareness. Because when spiritual awareness gets stagnant and blocks because of our attachments, our ego, when that happens, the eclipses show up. Rahu shows up. Loki shows up. And so actually Loki and Rahu, even though they appear to be troublemakers, what they're really doing is they're doing the unpleasant task that nobody else wants to do, which is to point out the hypocrisy and the self-directed damage that is being done. And he does it because he cares, and he does it because he cares unconditionally. I've been one of those teachers. These things are changing about me now because I'm shifting into a new role in my life on this planet. But up until recently, my job was to reveal the truth you didn't want to hear. And so people would leave questions, and I would say, what you really want to ask in that question is this, and then I would reveal to you what your deepest issues were. And people, of course, nobody likes that. But I'm not interested in you liking me. My job is to help you. And if you are, if some illusion is keeping you bound up in something that's causing you harm, pain, my job is to start slicing away at that. Again, I'm not doing that anymore like I used to, but that's what's happening now. And I don't know if you feel it, but I sure as heck feel it. And I'm going to start implementing a lot of changes on the channel as a result of that, and a result of what I've been experiencing the past couple of days. Before we get into that, let me just say, if you are new to the channel, I need you to subscribe, like, and comment. Go to the free playlist page, click on the Maoshan Qigong, the Interdimensional Meditation, and 12 Steps to 5D. And while you're doing that, I need you to subscribe to the Warrior 90-Day Lightning Qigong at thunderwizard.com. As I'm sitting here, I am debating whether or not I want to take all those things in those three playlists and I want to put it on the Patreon page so that people have to subscribe to get access to it. My experience is, this is the Loki and me talking, and this is 40 years of teaching. My experience is that if you give people things for free, they don't appreciate it. And they, I used to teach the Maoshan practices for free because, I paid a lot of money to learn from my teachers, and I thought, people shouldn't have to pay. And I was teaching it for free, but nobody memorized the practices. They didn't appreciate it. So now if somebody wants to learn from me, especially in person, they got to pay me for my time, because I know if they pay for it, they're gonna learn it. You know, when I was charging $3,000 for people just to get the videos of the 5-element practices, you can bet those people learned those practices and practiced them, because it cost them a lot of money. People will get it for just a few $100. If you get it for free, I guarantee you nobody's going to put the time into it, because people tend not to value what is given to them for free. They tend to value things that are that cost more, things that they don't understand. You know, I've had that happen before. Students have moved on to other people because they don't understand that guy, but they completely understand me. This is our self-devaluation. So I'm thinking about changing the channel all around. I'll leave that up to you. But for now, go to those playlists and subscribe to the Warrior 90-Day Lightning Qigong at thunderwizard.com. We'll come back to that later. All right, so let's get back to what's happening here with the eclipse. This eclipse that is coming on the 8th, I want you to be prepared for this. I want you to be prepared for... did I pass it? I must have passed it. I want you to be prepared for things to happen in ways that you haven't expected. I want you to be prepared, and especially, you know, if you're on my channel, you're going to be more prepared because I've been telling you about a lot of the things underneath, especially the most important stuff. But for those people, especially if you're newer people who aren't watching this, things are going to be happening in ways that they can't even begin to comprehend. It's going to be so unbelievable, because look, it's like the eclipses are two eyes looking at you. The other thing I've said about Dallas is where President Kennedy was shot. So I'm here to tell you that when the deepest, most important truth about what the dark force elite have been lying to you about, when the deepest, most powerful secrets come to the surface, that will be the end of them. That hasn't happened yet. You know, if you go onto YouTube, like the Jimmy Dore show, or what's his name? You know, the guy who used to be a comedian. Anyway, you know, a lot of comedians. I mean, Joe Rogan is one. You know, what's happening is, strangely, people who were comedians 20 years ago are now the people who are actually giving the news. And they're telling you the truth about what's going on, and they're revealing the lies and the corruption. And so that's nothing new. It's now more and more people are waking up to the reality that this whole farce of, you know, our global society, the United States, democracy, you know, the democracy of, you know, in Europe. I mean, we're seeing that this is a complete farce. That even people, if we elect them, if they get into office, they really either can't do anything, or they're so hamstrung by the people that have financed them, and or they're corrupt, that really nothing is happening for us. And this is nothing new now. A lot of people are seeing it. A lot of people now understand that, you know, that there's something weird that doesn't seem right about the so-called disclosure that's happening in the United States Congress about UFOs. I mean, they keep going back and forth about UFOs, and nobody cares. You know, even though they have so-called whistleblowers talking about a secret UFO crash retrieval program, nobody cares. Go out on the street and ask anybody if they care about it. Nobody cares. They don't pay attention. They don't really know what's going on. Nobody cares. And that wasn't what they had intended. But what you're going to see now is that you're going to see the dark force continue to start acting on their plans that they've been planning, some could say for hundreds or thousands of years, but certainly for the past 100 years. If you take a look at, if you do any research to find out what is happening in China, it is absolutely unbelievable. The weather events that are hitting China, the attacks on infrastructure, there are fires, banks are being blown up in China. There is, you think we've got a housing crisis. I mean, their economy is completely collapsing from the inside out. And yet, you're not hearing about any of that. What you're hearing about from mainstream media is that China has this, is trying to attack. I mean, listen, I got to tell you, this whole nonsense with TikTok, that is such a blatant, hostile takeover. Why? Well, there's two reasons. One is there's a lot of people on TikTok who are protesting, like, the war in Gaza and other things like that. And that is a threat to the forces in the United States government that want to support Israel, want to support what many people believe is, a genocide. I'm not going to get into that because I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on politics. You can have your own opinion about it, but a lot of people have that feeling. And so when you've got a government that wants to support Israel, there's obviously some financial corporate interest in that, or they wouldn't be doing that, because the United States government doesn't do anything if there isn't something in the bottom line monetarily for at least those who are influencing the policies. And so what they're saying, if you paid any attention, is that they're saying they have to ban TikTok in the United States because it's a threat against United States security. A bunch of kids dancing and using weird, somehow that's a threat. And then they're saying unless they sell, you have to sell the platform. To whom? To somebody in the United States, obviously. And so you get the other aspect is that, I know because I'm playing around with social media and I'm uploading my shorts to whatever social media platform, and I'm seeing where it does the best. Right now it's doing the best on Facebook. It's going viral, 500,000 views on some of my, on combination of my videos there. TikTok is, who is TikTok in competition with? That's what you got to be thinking about. Who is TikTok in competition with? Competition with Facebook, with YouTube, Instagram. It's definitely a competitor for that. And Instagram and Facebook is the same thing. And then Google owns YouTube, So those are all United States corporate media, they're all part of that. So what it means is if you've got a foreign-owned social media platform that's doing extremely well, that's also making a lot of money, that's also a competing place for information, then when you hear the United States government say we're going to ban you in the United States unless you sell your platform. To whom? Now you've got all kinds. I'm sure that you're going to get bids from Google. You're going to get bids from Zuckerberg. You're going to get bids from the people who are owning it, because the goal for the United States is to have complete, total censorship control over all of the social media. And it's such an obvious hostile takeover. We're going to ban you unless you sell to us. We're not going to get rid of your platform. And the reason why they say that is because there are many people in the United States who they make their living off TikTok. So, there are people that are up in arms because you're going to ban it in the United States. I will lose my entire business. I'll go broke. I'll be homeless. So they say, well, in order to protect the Americans who are there, you can sell to us. I mean, it is just so obvious. And that's my point, is that the corruption and the lies are becoming more and more obvious to everybody. Everybody. And, again, we keep hearing, war with China. We keep talking about this. We keep hearing from mainstream media that China is going to launch some kind of cyber attack to cripple the United States. But do you know, between China and the United States, who has the most military bases around the world? Who has military bases? Let me ask you this, does China have military bases encircling the United States? No. Does the United States have military bases encircling China? Yeah. So who's, really, it's when you look at the facts, you're being lied to on so many fronts. So that's what Loki is going to reveal here. And as we've already seen, the flashpoint is right there in Texas. So what's going to happen? I don't know. I don't have that information. I can tell you, I can feel, maybe you can too, the tension is getting to a point. Look at everything that's happening. Again, you're not seeing it on mainstream news, and I'm sure you've heard about it. I hope you have. The farmer protests all over the world. All over the world. Why are the farmers protesting? Because governments and corporations are trying to get rid of farmland. Why would they do that? Farmland is where your food comes from. And if they control the farmland, they control food. And and just to let you know, there's a lot of people, not a lot of people, but some people have backyard gardens where they grow their own vegetables, organic vegetables, where they have chickens, they could have, who knows what, cows. A lot of backyard people are doing that. And here's what they're being told. There are things coming out in mainstream magazines and news saying that backyard gardening, listen to this, causes global warming. That somehow growing plants in your backyard somehow adds to higher carbon footprint. Explain that to me. How does putting plants that release oxygen into the air, how does growing that add to the carbon footprint? Well, of course it doesn't. And so when you see that, when you see mainstream magazines and newspapers saying that backyard gardening is a threat to global warming, that's the next step. Is then there's going to be a bill in Congress outlawing it so that you're not allowed to garden in your backyard, because they'll say it's a threat to the environment. Just like, they're trying to make it, against the law to drive your car in London and places like that. Why? So that they can put you in a 5-minute city, and then, they can control your movement. They can control you. So that's where this is all headed. It's headed to the point where they control the flow of food that's available to you. Look, that's why baby formula factories all went up in flames. Remember that? That's why plastic factories went up in flames. Remember that? That's why there are unbelievable fires that you've never seen anything like it. During the winter, when there's blizzards in California, over there in the Texas Panhandle, there are fires doing what? Killing a bunch of cows and ranches and farms. Do you find this coincidental? I find it very coincidental. But the end result is, if your movement is controlled, and if your food is controlled, the easiest way to control somebody is by taking away their access to food. Hang on a second, there's going to be an ad right here. Anyway, so I'm doing things like inserting ads into my videos. And I tell you why I had to do that. Last night, as I was lying in bed, and I spend all my days making videos and uploading shorts and thinking about how I can give more stuff to people and help people, I get an email telling me that I'm overdrawn on my bank account. I can't remember the last time that's happened. So that just gives you an idea. I'm not kidding around when I say, guys, look, if all you do is watch my channel and you're benefiting from it and you're doing the free practices, I'm really happy for that. I want that. But if you've been wanting to do the 90-day challenge, if you've been wanting to do any of the other stuff on this channel, it actually allows me to pay my bills and eat. And I really want to focus on that. So I'm very appreciative of anybody who supports the channel. Go to thunderwizard.com and subscribe. You can unsubscribe whenever you want. I never ask for donations. I never have. I never will. It would be really nice if I had millions of subscribers and viewers, and if they watch the channel and I could just do nothing but, rake in money from ad revenue, but that doesn't happen. I make about $100 a month off of that. So, if you can't afford it, you can't afford it. Even if you don't want to do it, you don't want to support the channel, I will still give the practices to you. I will still make them available to you. But that really woke me up. Like, holy crap. It really woke me up. So there's going to be some changes on the channel. I'm going to take all of the stuff you see here at courses.thunderwizard.com, all of those video courses, all of those certification courses, those are all going to be uploaded to the Patreon site. And even if you're not subscribed, you can get access to purchasing those videos or those courses. By the way, I've got a new course coming up, which I'm very excited about, which is an advanced meditation practice to open the pineal gland using the Hawar breath. And I'm going to upload a free video on the channel explaining what it is, and then if you want to, you can get the practice itself. Again, on the Patreon channel, you'll be able to download it or stream it from there. So keep your eyes peeled for that. All of that stuff, I'm going to move all of that stuff over to the Patreon channel. Don't worry, if you've already purchased like the 5-element Malshan practices, I won't mess with that. You'll still be able to access it the way you have been. But anybody coming forward wanting to get those, that way I don't have to make emails every day. And my hope is that more and more people come over to the channel and subscribe. My hope is that all of these, 500,000 views I'm getting on my my Facebook shorts, that those people, at least some of those people, can make their way over here. Because look, literally, if I had, if every person who watched my channel religiously, paid $1 a week, I wouldn't have to worry about it. I could just make videos all day long. So anyway, it's very frustrating. And I'm frustrated with this society, which is another reason why we have to change this. I'm as frustrated as anybody else. And when I see the farmers protesting and doing that, I am completely with them, because it's gotten so absolutely crazy with the elites. And the thing is, people think that the dark force elite are all that they want is money. And if that were the case, they could easily accomplish that while allowing everybody to be prosperous. So it's not about money. This is what Rahu is revealing. This is what Loki is revealing. What they're doing is not about money. When you have the amount of money that, Zuckerberg and Gates and and Jeff Bezos, when you have that amount of money, there's no more money is it's meaningless. After your first billion, literally money is meaningless at that point. So it's about something else. And the truth is if they continue to create a world where they turned everybody into consumers, and as long as the consumer society had their jobs and had plenty of money. I mean, if you took all of the money just that the United States has given to Ukraine, by the way, the billions of dollars that are sent over to Ukraine, besides sending equipment and all of that, they're also paying them salaries, the Ukrainian guys' salaries. They're paying their health care. How many people in the United States get free health care? You pay taxes. Do you get any health care from that? No. You pay taxes. Do you get guaranteed income from that? No. But they do. If they took the billions of dollars that they've given to Ukraine for this war that has been going on for how many years, and what has it accomplished? If they took those billions of dollars, they could have given that back to every single person in the United States, and every single person in the United States would have a place to live. They would have, money for everything that they needed. They would be able to have free health care. So you're being lied to about everything. Everything is a lie that they're telling you. And it's not about money. It's about something far more insidious than that. And what is going to be revealed, which I hope, I really hope that it's going to be revealed. What is going to be revealed is going to be at the level of what is underneath the UFO scenario. When it is revealed what that the unacknowledged dark forces have access to free energy that would solve every single energy crisis on the planet, as well as, according to them, save the world from global warming. If they really wanted to save the world from global warming, they wouldn't be, like Jeff Bezos wants to do, put, as he says, 1 trillion people into space. He said that. Don't believe me? Go onto his channel and look. He wants to put you up in space. He wants to put you up in space to do what? To work in his space factories. I mean, that sounds crazy, but that's what's going on. They've been saying since I was a kid that they want to reduce the population to 500 million. There's what, 7 or 9 billion people on the planet? This isn't about money. This isn't about money. It's about something else. Right now, money is the best way to control you. You can see me. I'm frustrated. I'm angry. I ended up waking up last night to an email saying I was overdrawn. Money is affecting my freedom, my ability to function. That's how they use it. But pretty soon it's going to get to the point where it's not going to be about money anymore. It's going to be about literally your life. They will tell you where to go, what to do. They'll tell you how much food you can eat. They'll tell you who can live, who doesn't get to live. All of that. That's what this is about. And when this second eclipse goes over at where? Over Dallas, where Kennedy was killed, and Kennedy was killed for one reason. He was killed because he was going to reveal the unacknowledged energy programs that were reverse engineered from shot down alien craft, and he was going to reveal the fake alien abduction scenario that has been going on since before I was born, and he was going to reveal the truth about the nature of extraterrestrials. And they killed him for that. And they killed him where? They killed him in Dallas. So it is my hope that this new eclipse starts to bring that to light. The information is already out there to anybody who wants to look. And again, it blows my mind how many people are into UFOs and don't know any of this stuff. If you want to know, go look at Dr. Stephen Greer's YouTube channel, go to his website. There's no shortage of information, things that I'm not willing to talk about here on this channel that have to do with, who are the people that they're going to use to be the next goose-stepping army that's walking down your street. The people that they, you know, the ways that they have gotten a hold of human cattle and used them, and they're going to be, you know, people knocking on your door with machine guns. By the way, what do we have in New York subways? You have checkpoints with armed guards with automatic rifles standing there. Why? Because there was some violence on the subway, which there has been forever. No change. In fact, the violence has gone down in recent years on the subway. And so, you know, it's right there for all of us to see. And you're hearing the frustration in my voice, because I'm frustrated. I want to do something. I want to change this world. I want to do something to help free humanity. And you know, what I go through is nothing compared to what a lot of other people have to go through. And it's getting to the point where the human population isn't going to tolerate it any longer. So with this explosive, you know, Rahu energy coming with this eclipse, just keep your eyes open. So as I understand it, later in April, so there's going to be the eclipse in April, so all kinds of things, who knows? I think a bunch of things are going to be revealed. It's going to go either way. Either there's going to be a bunch of revelations which will result in an awakening, which will result in a further erosion of the power of the elites, or there's going to be a further clampdown by the dark forces. And, you know, I honestly don't know which way it's going to go. I want to stay hopeful about it. But be aware of that. But I've also heard from Vedic astrologers that later in April, later in the month, I don't remember the exact date, but that's when the true ascension starts to begin. That's when people's awareness really starts to open up, and that's where we start to see some changes. So perhaps we should focus on that. But for right now, things are really starting to heat up. Maybe you can feel it. In any case, I don't have a whole lot to say. I just kind of needed to vent and get that out. But to bring you aware of what is coming up in these next few days. So on a lighter note, as I've said, I am going to upload a free video. I'll probably upload it today, but that's going to be an introduction to a new course, which is the Huar breath pineal gland activation. And so I won't take up your time talking about it here, but you know, the past year and a half I've been working with this mantra that was given to me by a higher dimensional being that's been working with me. And it hasn't something that's happened conscious. In my interdimensional meditations, I became aware that I was doing a physical technique with my breathing along with the mantra that was actually hyper awakening my pineal gland. So it was supercharging and empowering my interdimensional meditations. And so when I became aware of that there was an actual technique that I was doing unconsciously, I wasn't aware that I was doing it, but when I analyzed exactly what my body was doing, I realized that it was a very advanced technique for using you can use your body as a way of pumping the fluid up the spinal column into the pineal gland, which then gets the crystals of the pineal gland to vibrate, which then creates the electromagnetic field, which is the antenna. And I wasn't doing it consciously, but I realized that I was doing some very specific physical techniques having to do with breathing, having to do with the mantra, and having to do with visualization. And so I'm going to be uploading that course to the thunderwizard.com site, and but I will also put the introduction to it here on the free channel. And so again, if you want to listen, there's so many things that I'm offering. It's really a smorgasbord. But if you really want access to the most powerful stuff I have to offer, right now it is the Warrior 90-Day Challenge, which you can get at thunderwizard.com. Go there, click around, and subscribe. Also, it is my experience that people benefit much more if they have a teacher. So I want to ask, how many of you listening to this channel, how many of you have been watching my channel and you don't have a teacher? How many of you just listen to me talk, but you've never worked with me? I have a teacher. I can't do it without a teacher. It's probably, if I can't do it, and you're coming to me for information, it's probably a good idea to understand that maybe you benefit from having a teacher as well. I think everybody should have a teacher. I don't care who it is. A mentor, a friend, a guide. But people trying to do it by themselves, it's like being your own lawyer. You got an idiot for a lawyer. So you can't change your broken thinking with your broken thinking. That's what teachers are there for. So if you're stuck and you want to go further, I offer apprenticeship, which you can find at thunderwizard.com. Click around, subscribe on that. If you don't like working with me, you can unsubscribe whenever you want. And again, all of those of you who subscribe, you're the guys that are keeping my lights on. Without you, I'd have to do something else. I'd have to work at Walmart or whatever else it is. So I appreciate everybody, who does support the channel. I do appreciate everybody who's doing the practices. So at the very least, please do the practices, the free stuff. Because the more that we do the work, the more that we move towards empowering and changing ourselves, we benefit, but so does everybody else. If you want everybody else in the world to wake up, you have to wake up. So I've been doing that. I've been working really hard on myself. It hasn't gone over my head that my recent challenges with my finances, I'm responsible for that. That's my own, my own projection into my own world. I'm not unaware of that. So, I practice what I preach. In any case, I'm babbling. I'm waiting to see if anybody wants to ask any questions. I don't see any. So there you go. You've got the links. You can also get my books at michaelwilliamdenny.com, or you can get them on Amazon Kindle or Audible. And there it is. So that's it, my friends. I don't see any, what do you call it? Looks like Jesus Arellano almost asked a question, and I don't have the answer to that question. There you go. That's it. So I'll see you guys next time. And if I don't get beamed up to the Starship Enterprise, and or if the solar flash don't come, and or if I don't shift, and it doesn't look like I'm going to do it today based on the mood I'm in, but if I don't shift myself into the next dimension, if that doesn't happen, I will see you all very soon. Please take very good care of yourselves. Thank you so much for showing up.